So we're going to calculate feed out by selecting the square. So the first thing it asks us is whether or not we want to combine these two feeds into a mixer. We're actually not going to combine them. We're going to feed the grain separately and the silage separately. So we're going to stay with no and click next. So the first thing it's asking, because we're feeding the barley separately, how often are we going to feed that? Are we going to feed it every day, every second, or every third day? In this case, we're going to feed it every 3 days. I'm going to punch in 3. So it now calculates we need to feed 700 kilos of barley every 3 days. Now if we're putting that into a feed trailer, what's the auger flow rate coming out of that feed trailer? Or if it's a gravity feed, what's the flow? So in this case it's 160 kilograms a minute. So it now calculates that we'll have to trail feed that for 4 minutes and 23 seconds, or for 4 minutes and 23 seconds into a trough, a long trough. If we were using self-feeders and we wanted to keep track of how much grain we were putting into them, we could say, well, we've got 4 self-feeders, and it will tell us now that we would need to fill each one for 1 minute and 6 seconds. But we don't have self-feeders, because when you're maintenance feeding, it's difficult to control how much each animal is going to get. So we've entered our barley, and now it's asking us for the pit silage. How often we're going to feed that? Well, we're actually going to feed that out every 3 days as well. So it's now telling us we need to feed 175 kilos every 3 days. So what's the grab or bucket? How much does it hold? In this case, it holds 100 kilos. So it's now telling us we need to feed 1.8 buckets every 3 days. And then we just click save. Now what we have on the supplement screen up the very top is the feed out calculation. So it tells us how long we need to feed out for the barley, and also how many buckets we need for the pit silage. If we wanted to, we can export that. In the top right hand corner of the screen there's a little arrow which enables us to either send it as a text to someone or to email it. So you've got a record of how to make that mix up. But we're not going to do it in this example. If we scroll down the page a little bit, we can see view and edit feed. If I click on that, that tells us what the actual mix was and the details that we went through previously, saying that the daily amount per head is 1.17 kilograms or 292 kilos of the mix for the mob. And we can also go back and edit that mix if we wanted to. But we're happy, we've done our calculate feed out, and now we're going to go to the final step, which is view the summary.